Hello, I'm Andrew Woods, and this is podcast 4 within the theme of surviving retirement, which is going to be great fun for all of us as we're getting older. Okay, today I just want to focus on two key areas very quickly. One will be some developments within the banking system, which is fairly significant, and the other one will be pensions, where I just want to outline the key points with our UK-based standard basic pension. YouTubing, I came across a podcast that I simply could not believe. It was the very statuesque, very tall, sophisticated looking Christine Lagarde, who is the president of the European Central Bank. And there she was being interviewed, waxing lyrical, I jest ye not, discussing the prospect, the very real possibility of actually imposing a limit on the amount of cash that can be used in any transactions of buying products. In this instance, she is seriously proposing, and it will be reviewed in October 2023, that any cash payments over €1,000 will be investigated. They could actually face a fine and ultimately, get hold of this one, it could ultimately lead to imprisonment. When I was watching this, I couldn't believe what I'd just seen and heard, so I wound it back and watched it again, and I can tell you it's real. If ever we needed convincing the skeptics out there that we're heading towards a George Orwellian type Big Brother state, then all the signs are beginning to emerge. We're leaving no doubt about it with what is going on here. That is a really dangerous situation that is being proposed by the European Bank. Now, that will be applying to the EU. Fortunately, the UK is now out of the EU, but what will happen here is this will be coming down our way as well, and it will obviously be impacting us some way further down the line. What I want to do, it was today I came across on this theme, what Christine Lagarde was unbelievably saying, I came across a article in the Guardian newspaper. It was about a gentleman, a retired civil servant who went to Barclays Bank to draw some cash. He showed the audacity of wanting to draw out some of his cash from his savings with Barclays Bank. What I'm going to do is just read this out to you quickly, what actually happened. Okay, so here we go. If you had £12,000 sitting in your current account and you walked into your local branch to make an over-the-counter cash withdrawal, what's the maximum you would expect to be able to take out? Would you be surprised to be told that each branch of your bank has its own secret no notice maximum withdrawal? And would you be shocked to discover your branch has opted not to keep much cash on the premises, even though they are actually banks who are supposed to be dealing with money? Get your head around that one. These are questions some bank customers may wish to ponder after hearing about the experience of retired civil servant, here we go, Nick Robinson. He has accused Barclays of effectively denying customers access to their money. That's their hard-earned money we're talking about here. After he walked into his local branch in Oxfordshire to withdraw £1,570 in cash to pay a bill. He produced his debit card and photo ID, but was told that even though there was around £12,000 in his current account, £1,570 was too large a sum to have on the spot, and he therefore could only have £1,170. Robinson, 66, says he was also told that his branch in Oxfordshire carries no £50 notes and only limited numbers of £20 notes. So this resulted in him, laughingly, it's like a comedy sketch this, in having to actually walk out with a big stack of mainly £10 and £5 notes. Can you believe that? When he complained, he was surprised to be told by Barclays in a letter that cash withdrawal limits are made at a local level. but that the bank doesn't generally disclose to customers what these limits are. What is this? We're not dealing with state secrets. We're dealing with drawing cash out of the bank. And they show us the utter contempt of not telling us what the limits are. It beggars belief. He was told that in the case of his branch, which admittedly was a small branch in Didcot, the most someone can draw without notice is £2,000. But that on the day he visited, the weekly cash run had just taken place, which was why he was only able to have the smaller sum. Okay, that's a true story. That dovetails in very nicely with what Christine Lagarde is proposing to impose on Europe, and ultimately it will percolate its way down to the rest of us. We really are heading towards a big brother state. The importance of this is that if the banks can control the amount of money we take out, and ultimately this drives us on to a completely cashless society where the only method we can use to purchase anything is using a credit card. Imagine where you've had a fallout with the government and they give word down the line to the bank to block your account because you've been a naughty boy. You go down to the local supermarket to buy your groceries for your family, and when you go to pay, you use your credit card to be told by the assistant, "Oh, very sorry, your account is blocked. You can't buy these goods." Let's just look at this. So that's your credit card has been turned off. You've got no cash. You can't go to get any cash. You can't withdraw it from anywhere. And that leaves you basically screwed, with the government and the banks for that matter having you completely under their control, whereby they can switch you on and switch you off as they so desire. This is not acceptable, and it's time. A lot of people don't know this is going on. I could not believe the utter arrogance of this Christine Lagarde in what she's trying to do. There's been no vote on this. She's just decided that that's what she wants to implement. So there doesn't seem to be much democracy throughout the EU. Thank God we've pulled out. That then is the situation, quick story on the banks. Now what I want to do is just touch upon pensions, state pensions in the UK. And these are just a few key points that we need to be aware of. The situation now is, in 2023, the standard basic rate was £185.15 a week for ladies and gentlemen. And that has been increased by 10%, which means the weekly amount now is £209.85 per week. To qualify for that, this is where a lot of people get confused. You have to have contributed your NIC payments, National Insurance Contribution payments, into the system for 35 years. If you've fallen below that level, then the amount of your pension is reduced on a pro rata basis. That means 35 years gives you the full pension. If it's 30 years, then it's going to be reduced by the missing 5 years of contributions. And this does cause some confusion among pensioners. And that is actually protected by what we call the triple lock, although that's been in doubt whether that's going to be continued. But this is the situation at this moment in time. And the age at which we retire, well, as most of us know, it used to be 65, or if it was for the ladies, it was 60. Before, at one stage, without much notification, the ladies were told, "Oh, by the way, you won't be getting your state pension at 60, you'll be getting it at 65, which left a 5-year gap in their planning, which has been ameliorated since then. There have been various manoeuvres to try and ease that on the ladies, which I don't think was very fair, because they didn't have time to plan for that. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So now, for both male and female, the retirement age for the UK state pension is 66. And from, wait for this, it keeps getting pushed back. And this is happening throughout Europe as well. Between April 2026 and April 2028, the pension age will be pushed back further to 67. So we can all see the route that this is going. The government is attempting to save money, big money, by breaking the original social agreement, which was you pay your national insurance contributions all your life and you will qualify for a pension at this age. That no longer applies, and the retirement age is going to increasingly be pushed further and further back. That's not a good situation to be happening. Meanwhile, we have heads of government departments and local council officials getting fantastic pensions, work pensions, that us ordinary working folk have no access to. And let me tell you now that of the rates that you pay, I'll shock a lot of you now, of the rates, the local tax that you pay to the local council, of that figure you pay every year, it's between 30 to 35% of it goes towards paying the retirement pensions, the council retirement pension of their employees. I'm not happy about that because I never had access to that. And many of us working outside of the government circles, we worked damned hard for our life as well, but we never had access to such pensions. Not a good situation there. Just one last point I should mention here. Personal allowance that you can earn in the UK before paying any tax is £12,500. And this is something I didn't know till the other day. So let's say you're coming up to retirement or you're in retirement, you're earning some money. What happens if you go above £12,500? Well, the good news is apparently you don't pay any national insurance contributions. So that's one good aspect of retirement if you're still earning money. And just to give everybody an idea of how we have to register for our pensions, I assumed erroneously that it was automatically paid to us. Wrong. We have to register ourselves with the government pensions 3 months before we think we're entitled to commence with our state pension, and we have to provide them with details such as the date of our marriage and confirm our bank details. As I say, I thought that was done automatically. It's not. You've got to register. And then, lastly, this is interesting, and I think it will get a lot of people very angry. Let's just look at what's happening around Europe with basic state retirement pensions. Listen to this. Luxembourg, the basic state pension is £3,050 per month. These are all monthly figures. Belgium is £2,709. Spain, which is always seemingly in dire economic straits, somehow they can afford to pay their pensioners £2,287 a month. How is that possible compared to our UK monthly pension of £883? Then we've got Bosnia and Herzegovina, even beating the UK with £979 a month. Cyprus, get a hold of this one, which was supposed to be bankrupt at one state, as far as I was aware. Their state pension basic is somehow £1,485 a month. And then we have France, they're doing well, £1,497 a month. And I repeat, the UK is £883 a month. What the heck has been going on here? The point I want to make is that, as is currently happening in France, we, British people, should be shaken out of our complacency, and we should be taking to the streets and letting the government know that these levels, these activities are not acceptable, and we're going to start rebelling against it. It's not really being reported on the national news in the UK what's going on in France, but I've got a friend from Paris who's told me unbelievable stories about local government offices that have actually been burned down. And it's major rioting that's going on, and it's hardly reported in the national news at all. So that was just a quick overview of the situation with pensions. We'll go into more details about that over the coming weeks. And I just quickly touched upon the fiasco that's unfolding with the banking system. So that's something for you to ponder. The Orwellian state is well and truly almost upon us, and it's up to us to do something about it. Thanks for listening.